there's now a blurred line with OpenMetal's on-demand private cloud. We absolutely wanted to borrow from characteristics of the public cloud that we thought were critical, like ease of spinning up, and we call it trivial to deploy, and it's very much aligned with how the public cloud works. So if I need resources, I can go from having nothing with a few button clicks or an API call or two to actually having some infrastructure. So in our case, we enable this by, even as a new user that is valid in the system, can go in, hit the button, and have a full private cloud, 3 servers with Ceph as a highly available storage system, and OpenStack already installed on those 3 servers. They can get it in 45 seconds. It's going to have your access keys on it, and you can grab a password, and you can actually run a, let's say, infrastructure as code based system, Terraform, for example, against those APIs that are already available to you, and create a full VM-based infrastructure in minutes. We're really in the minutes world now, which is very much akin to public cloud. Public cloud, you can jump in there, hit a button or make an API call and have a virtual machine right away. It's the very same situation with this on-demand private cloud. And so we've always been using that term on-demand private cloud to help differentiate it between a traditional public cloud, private cloud, sorry. A lot of people, they're gonna have this perception of a private cloud as something that requires a lot of planning. Maybe you need a big team to accomplish it. You're going to have a lot of rules. You've got to come up with a big project plan in order to accomplish this. And that's not the case anymore. So on-demand private cloud is very much borrowed from the public cloud aspect of ease of use, being able to actually use it on demand in the sense that you can pay for short-term usage. So let's say you've got this cloud already configured, you've got 6 or 7 boxes in there, and you know you're coming up on a time when you need a whole lot of additional compute resources. Maybe you got a big development push. You're going to be putting out a new version of your software. You're going to have all kinds of testing going on. Essentially, you can go in there in a short period of time, add additional hardware units to the existing cloud, and have the additional VM or storage available to you. Very, very short order. Now, different configurations, if you've highly customized it, it does require a little bit of interaction, either by your team or by our team, to help those servers join in with your cloud. But very, very straightforward, and we're talking, hours or half an hour, these kinds of things, instead of, days. There's no days involved in this kind of stuff anymore. And so, yeah, it's very much blurred the line between public cloud and private cloud. The private cloud aspects that still very much remain is, it's all yours. It's 100% your hardware. You're in your networks. You're utilizing your system. There's nobody else in there. It's just yours. You have root level access to it. You can make modifications to the cloud. So if you want to have a particular flavor of VM that is not offered by someone else, or if you need to really be very specific in the attributes, you can do so. Maybe you need additional functionality in the cloud. Maybe even this. Maybe you would like to have a test program occur where your development team is going to evaluate Kubernetes as a replacement for your existing way of developing and way of actually running your applications. Well, guess what? On a private cloud, you can just spin up a little section in that private cloud with different users and allow your team to come in to that section of the infrastructure completely separate from the other sections, and essentially do their research and development, do their learnings all over in this section. And guess what? As long as it fits within what the hardware node can do, it costs you nothing extra. So that's one of the benefits of the private cloud. Now, distinct in our world, when we think of private cloud, we're an open source company, very, very driven by open source. So this system is completely open source. It's not just at the level where you can make modifications because it's open source, but it also means it's license free. and so there's no VM tax, there's none of this kind of stuff that occurs with other private cloud competitors. And so this is also a distinction that OpenMetal has compared to many private cloud providers, is you're just not going to get into that world of like, oh, I spun up a VM and now I've got 40 points that I've got to pay for. This is the VMware world. And we just don't have that. That doesn't exist in the open source world, because that would be counter to people being able to easily learn the technology. Like, you shouldn't, if all I'm doing is learning it, I shouldn't have to pay for 40 points to like just figure out how a Kubernetes might work for us. No, just go try it, learn it, use it. Now, if you have a huge deployment system, yes, of course, your hardware expenses are going to change, your hardware needs are going to change. But again, this is an open source system, so you're really going to often notice these significant difference between other private cloud providers. So I know I've covered a lot of things, all the way from public cloud and how we're similar, because we believe in a lot of the philosophies, but we also very much believe in the private cloud philosophies. But we also believe in the open source philosophies. So we've all kind of shoved that together into what we call our OpenMetal On-Demand Private Cloud.